A single dad accidentally saw his neighbor changing. She smiled and said, "Then take responsibility." The bright morning sun spilled across the quiet neighborhood as Rowan Hayes hurried home with grocery bags hanging from both hands. His 6-year-old daughter, Poppy, had forgotten her favorite storybook, and he wanted to surprise her before school ended. He had spent 3 exhausting years raising her alone after losing his wife to a sudden illness. Every day felt like a battle between grief and hope, but Rowan never stopped trying to give his little girl a beautiful life. He believed that kindness always returned, even if it took years. Just as he reached his porch, a strong gust of wind slammed his neighbor's front door open. Rowan instinctively glanced toward the sound and accidentally caught sight of his new neighbor changing near the hallway. Startled, he immediately turned away, embarrassed beyond words. But before he could apologize or walk off, he heard a cheerful voice call after him. "Then take responsibility." Before we continue this emotional journey, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories that remind the world compassion still exists. Rowan froze. His face turned bright red as countless terrible possibilities raced through his mind. He slowly turned around and saw the woman standing safely wrapped in a robe, smiling instead of looking angry. Her name was Maren Sinclair, and unlike the misunderstanding Rowan feared, her smile carried warmth instead of accusation. She explained that she wasn't talking about what he had accidentally seen. Earlier that morning, her elderly father had collapsed while she was trying to help him into bed. Rowan had unknowingly rushed over after hearing the noise, helped lift the older man into a chair, and called the ambulance before realizing what was happening inside the house. She believed that anyone willing to help strangers deserved to take responsibility for something far more meaningful, being a friend to 2 lonely people who had just moved into town. Relief washed over Rowan so suddenly that he laughed for the first time in weeks. Maren laughed with him, and the awkward misunderstanding became the beginning of an unexpected friendship. During the following weeks, Rowan often checked on Maren's father after work. The older man, Harold, suffered from heart problems and struggled to adapt after leaving the family farm. Poppy quickly grew attached to him because he always carried peppermint candies and endless stories about horses, fishing, and old country fairs. Life slowly became brighter. Rowan realized that for the first time since becoming a single father, someone else genuinely cared about how his day had gone. Maren admired how gently he raised Poppy despite carrying invisible pain. She had her own heartbreak. Years earlier, her fiancé had left her just weeks before their wedding after admitting he was never ready for commitment. Since then, she had hidden behind work and responsibility, convincing herself love belonged to other people. One sunny Saturday, the neighborhood organized a community picnic. Children laughed across the park while families filled picnic tables beneath huge oak trees. Rowan noticed Poppy holding Maren's hand instead of his own. Rather than feeling replaced, he felt thankful. His daughter had found another person she trusted completely. That afternoon, however, everything changed again. Harold suddenly clutched his chest and collapsed near the playground. Panic spread through the crowd. While others froze, Rowan immediately began CPR exactly as emergency operators instructed over the phone. Maren knelt beside him with tears pouring down her face, terrified of losing the only family she had left. Those endless minutes felt like hours until paramedics finally arrived and rushed Harold to the hospital. Doctors later explained that Rowan's quick actions had saved Harold's life. The hospital waiting room became strangely peaceful after the chaos. Maren quietly admitted that when she had joked about Rowan taking responsibility, she never imagined he would actually become one of the most dependable people in her family's life. Rowan smiled softly, explaining that responsibility wasn't something people should fear. Sometimes it simply meant refusing to walk away when someone needed help. Over the next several months, the bond between both families grew naturally. Rowan repaired Harold's old garden fence, while Maren secretly baked lunches for Rowan whenever she noticed he skipped meals to save money. Poppy's laughter filled both houses almost every afternoon. The once lonely street slowly became a place where neighbors watched over one another instead of merely waving from a distance. One evening, Rowan discovered that his employer planned to close the local warehouse where he worked. Hundreds of employees, including him, faced unemployment. Fear returned overnight. Every bill suddenly felt heavier. Every future plan seemed impossible. Without telling Rowan, Maren quietly contacted several people she knew through her architectural company. She remembered Rowan mentioning how much he enjoyed repairing furniture and solving practical problems. Within days, she arranged an interview with a property restoration business looking for someone exactly like him. Rowan got the job. The new position paid better, offered flexible hours, and allowed him to spend more evenings with Poppy. Standing outside his new workplace on the first day, he realized that one accidental moment months earlier had completely changed the direction of his life. As seasons passed, Harold regained enough strength to walk around the neighborhood again. Poppy proudly called him Grandpa Harold, and nobody corrected her because it simply felt right. The empty spaces inside two broken families had quietly begun healing together. One peaceful afternoon, Rowan and Maren sat on neighboring porches watching Poppy chase butterflies across the grass. Neither spoke for several minutes. Words were unnecessary. They both understood that healing rarely arrived dramatically. Sometimes it entered quietly, disguised as misunderstanding, kindness, forgiveness, or an unexpected neighbor who simply refused to let someone struggle alone. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise. Every interaction helps these inspiring stories reach people who may need hope today. Special request: before this story ends, please comment "Kindness changes lives" if you believe one small act of compassion can completely transform someone's future. As the golden afternoon sun settled across the peaceful street, Rowan watched Poppy laughing beside Maren and Harold. He finally understood something his late wife had once told him. Life rarely gives perfect beginnings, but it often rewards those who keep choosing kindness despite their pain. What started as an embarrassing accident became the doorway to friendship, healing, and a future none of them expected. Responsibility was never about blame. It was about showing up when life gave you the chance to make someone else's burden a little lighter. And sometimes, the greatest family isn't the one you're born into. It is the one that kindness quietly builds, one beautiful day at a time.